Yo, shout out to my guy Prince over at Portobello on the app. He's been an integral part of my Louis Rich Fly-ish. Yo, for real. Go holler at my boy if you're trying to get summertime fly like the kid right here. You know, my Jet magazine.
Now get me Sabian!
Yeah, so anyway, my favorite time of year is about to be on the way, y'all. Summertime, man. You know, I just made mention of it, summertime fly stuff. My favorite part about summer, though, are those warm 80-degree nights, baby. Ain't nothing like a warm summer night to ride around to. You know, just got your car washed, windows rolled down to the exact same height. Still got the AC on one just to keep a little cool air going. Sunroof open if you got it. Right song is on, perfect storm. They say as old heads, cats my age, we like to get our car washed and ride around and blast Jadakiss. What I really like to do, though, on these warm summer nights, though, I like to cruise around. Not just listen to the music, but I like to watch people earn their black belts. No, I'm not talking about like bar fights or nothing like that. Nah, you know, when you walk right into that spider web that you couldn't see because it's a spider web. I swear Jet Li ain't got nothing on the cat. This is unsuspectedly walking through some kind of layered web that was constructed carefully by the hands of a spider. You know, I hand out belts on Wednesdays and Saturdays, y'all, so be mindful of that.
Now get me Sabian!
You know, spiders, man, they're real disrespectful when you have no furniture in your place. When there's nothing in your place, they just, you know, you first move in, either it's on order or you just starting. It's just you, your chair, and a hat. And things just pop up on the wall, spread eagle style. Just staying there chilling, watching. Just taking the time strolling across the floor. Yes, y'all. Bugs are back, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing to call home about, but I know you guys are excited to walk into a swirling cluster of gnats that just happen to be right at the perfect eye level. The little hanging inchworms that you think is a leaf until it gets in the back, this little open space right here, in the back of your collar and your neck. Once it goes right in there, it ain't so cute no more, is it? Those fruit flies that just seem to spawn from countertops. Where do they come from? I didn't even get any fruit yet. Where do fruit flies come from? And everybody's favorite, mosquitoes. Yeah, it's about to go all the way up, y'all. Don't you worry about that. There's certain things, though, that makes the summertime experience complete. Certain nuances, common denominators, if you will. I mean, think about it, we would be outside from early morning, go home midday to get that classic fried bologna sandwich on the white bread, and how did you know it was done? The bubble in the middle, baby. What's that thing, bubble in the middle? Dude just said some of that good government cheese. Check the pronunciation, government cheese. You know, remember that old gray box with the blue purplish lettering on and stuff like that? You had to use your knee. You had to put your knee on the knife, hold that joint. You would have to put the mustard on that bologna sandwich just to make sure it could stick to the roof of your mouth. Man.
Now get me Sabian!
We were resourceful and resilient. We made the dollar stretch. You know, if you had $2, you was in business. Slice of pizza was $1.25 or $1 depending on where you work. $1.25 around my way. Bag of Doritos, 25 cents. Sundew drinks. Remember the tall Sundew joint? Ooh, straight sugar and color. That's all it was. 50 cents, tall quart, or something like that. Or you would get the quarter waters around the way. Back in my hood, in the plaza, we used to call them crackhead juices because only crackheads could afford them at the time. But, you know, hey, 25 cents went a long way. If you had a little more, like I said, dude, put the extra 25 cents towards some candy, some Jolly Ranchers, Alexander the Grape, Cherry Clan, Lemon Heads, you name it. And I'm from that school of candy where the Sour Powers weren't prepackaged. The cats at the Blimpie around the way, that's a Popeyes now. It used to be a Blimpie when we was growing up. The cats at the Blimpie, they had it in a big plastic container with the plastic drawer. And they had the tongs, the little plastic grabbers that they would get out the joint. And you say, yo, Ak, let me get like 25 cents of Sour Power. It would give it to you based on the amount of money that you had. Glory days, I tell you, man. I'm going for days about it, but it's only a half-hour show. So let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we got Congressman Jamaal Bowman in studio to sit down with the kid. I released the interview a little earlier than the rest of the show was taped because there was some hot takes on it we had to get out to the public ahead of time. I'm pretty sure I understand how the TV business goes. We always have our mindset building. As always, this installment is where things are going to get kind of real, so you might need to get a pen and paper. And the next segment of our Top 50 Countdown is on the way. So without further ado, we're going to stop me from talking, and we're going to get to the rest of the show, and we'll catch you after these break right now.
It's right here, all right?
Welcome back. It's right here. It's your boy, Sabe James. Today is a special show. It's so special to me, I had to have notes, y'all. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Because joining me now, we have, and I quote, American politician and educator serving as the U.S. representative for New York's 16th Congressional District since 2021. I present to some and introduce to others, Congressman, Representative Jamaal Anthony Bowman. I got that off the internet, y'all. Jamaal Anthony Bowman. We don't like that middle name possible. You don't give it up for him anyway.
What's up, brother? Good to be with you. No, man. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for having me. For sure. Absolutely, man. It's an honor to be here.
What exactly does a congressman do?
So we work on federal policy,
Okay.
right? And federal policy that impacts all aspects of someone's life. Everything from school lunches to housing, to investing in black businesses, to military spending. Like, we work on pretty much every issue you could think of from a federal policy perspective.
Got it.
We also work on every issue you can think of from a funding perspective, ensuring that X amount of dollars are going to a particular industry.
Got it. Okay.
So we do that as well. That's generally what we do. You know, I introduce a bill. My job is to get co-sponsors for that bill, people to support it.
Okay. To pass,
And
right.
then you want somebody in the Senate to lead the bill in the Senate
Got it.
so that it could be bicameral. And if it passes the Senate and the House, now it goes to the president's desk to become law.
Oh, okay.
So it's everything I just explained really quickly can take a year or two or several years. Some bills people have been working on for their whole careers.
Wow.
That haven't moved yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a lifelong dedication that you got right here.
It is, but like, one of my frustrations about Congress is there's not enough people who move with a sense of urgency. And it's because many people are there, whether they know it or not, to uphold the status quo.
It's right here, all right?
Welcome back to the show. It's right here. It's your boy, Sabe James. I'm joined by Representative Congressman. I don't know which one to call him, but I'm just going to call him something, you know what I mean? But the right words, Jamaal Bowman right here. Appreciate you still hanging out. We're going to get you out of here soon because I know you're a man of many talents and people are always at your heels right now. So getting back to the programs that we're doing for our underrepresented communities, there's a program that kind of jumped off the page when I looked at your website. It's called Safe Place for Our Girls.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, so, you know, there was a horrific incident that happened, I believe, last year in Mount Vernon when the young lady, Kayla, was stabbed to death and killed by another young lady, and they both were 15, 16 years old. And so it's horrific and heartbreaking. And so we began talking with the city of Mount Vernon and the Mount Vernon Youth Bureau about opportunities to bring additional programming in for girls in Mount Vernon, particularly at-risk girls who need support. So through that collaboration, we were able to help them get some community project funding to start this Safe Place for Girls program.
Right.
So they wrote a proposal to us. We got it through the process at the federal level, and now they're going to be receiving, I believe, $1 million to invest in at-risk girls. To just give them the leadership skills that they need so that they can hopefully remain out of harm's way, but then begin to thrive. One thing about that incident that took place, a lot of it was facilitated on social media, particularly Snapchat. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of bullying, a lot going on with our kids, and many of the adults weren't even aware of it at that level. And so for me, you know, the more access and opportunity and mentorship and training we give to our kids, the more likely they are to, again, remain safe, but also begin to thrive. And so we were able to fund that program, and now we're working very closely. You know, shout out to Debbie, who's leading the Youth Bureau. We're going to work closely with them to implement the program as well. And we just need programs like that all across Mount Vernon as we deal with the issue of public safety.
What do you feel is the biggest challenge facing our kids today?
The first word that came to mind for me is attention. And what I mean by that is, you know, parents are all over the place doing what they're doing, work, school, picking up kids, running them here, running them there, whatever. Some are struggling with their own stuff,
Right.
parents, right?
That's a fact.
School is school, traditional school, this class, get grades, whatever. But my question is, how well do we really know our kids? Like, do we take the time to like pause, take a deep breath and ask them, what are you interested in? What are you passionate about? What are your goals and dreams and aspirations? What do you struggle in?
Right.
What would you like to learn more about, do more with? All of that relates to paying attention to our kids in a different way.
Gotcha.
We need to ask the right questions and different questions to solve these problems that have been persisting differently, right?
Right. So we did our due diligence in getting the public's needs addressed with the gentleman, but now we're gonna change lanes again. So let's go to the lightning round then.
Okay,
Let's
here
go
we
to
go,
the
here we
lightning
go.
round. Let's go to the lightning round. Where do we start? Okay. Favorite member of the Woo?
RZA,
Summertime is coming up. At the ice cream truck, ice cream sandwiches or toasted almonds?
toasted almonds,
PS or Xbox?
Xbox,
Averex or Pelly Pellies?
Averex,
Favorite superhero?
Black Panther,
Nice. Biggie, Jay-Z or Nas?
Nas,
Prince or Michael Jackson?
formerly Michael Jackson, currently Prince,
Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Sprite or Dr. Pepper?
Neither, but Dr. Pepper.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee, but it should be tea.
Should be tea. All right. At least you honest. At least you being honest. We got an honest politician, ladies and gentlemen. If you had any superpower, what would it be?
Oh man, what's the joint where you could like just like snap your fingers and be anywhere in the world?
Teleportation.
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 Yes.
The last concert you've been to?
Jizza, Big Daddy Kane, and I forgot who the third person was.
We got a hip hop head in here, y'all. Y'all see what's going on right now? Last book you read?
Damn. It was good too. The Art of Impossible.
That's higher order of thinking right here. All right, silly question. If you had an elephant, where would you hide it?
I wouldn't hide it. I would be riding that joint everywhere I go.
We're regal with it in here. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Who's your football squad?
The Jets.
I'm a Bills fan, so yeah. It's all good. And ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Representative Jamaal Anthony Bowman was here in the building, sharing time with your boy, Sabe James. It's an honor and a pleasure to grace his presence. And we look for you guys to hang out with us on the next show. Sabe James and Representative Bowman is right here. Catch y'all next time.
It's right here, all right?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So let's jump right in. Since we started sharing this information on ways to help build a healthy mindset, we have been talking repeatedly about feelings and belief and why they're so important. Consider this. You become what you think about most of the time. Or you can say you get what you think about most of the time. What do we think about most of the time? That's the question. Is it positive or negative? Remember, we stated that thoughts become things, which brings us to our next talking point of quantum mechanics, introduced by Max Planck. Now, I know you're sitting up there saying, oh, but you ain't no physicist. True, but neither are you. It's a two-way street, all right? Do you really know how much you entangle with quantum mechanics on a daily? So, quantum mechanics is the study of how our thoughts become things on an atomic and subatomic level. Really how and where it starts. We're basically talking about the field of consciousness that creates our reality. And what's so important about this field of consciousness is that we are all a part of this field, which makes us all one, all connected, unified through this field. We are all one, or all is one. Quantum is Latin for how much. How much energy are we giving to this connection? How much are we thinking about the negative or the positive? How does it make you feel when you think about a specific thought? How long have you been thinking about that one thing you're wanting? You must use your feelings as a guide, as a scope, a gauge to see if you're lining up with what you want. Now, I'm speaking from experience here. Start with small goals you can believe in or the desire you want to get to you the fastest. Something you want that has high excitement and at the same time you absolutely believe you will get it. All right? Why? Because in this field of consciousness that we mentioned earlier, all possibilities already exist. And with our minds, we select those possibilities when we imagine or dream, and it locks into place. Our belief is the tool that gets us the rest of the way there. I swear I heard somebody say that all things are possible to him that believeth. Sound familiar? Belief is the union of thoughts and emotions, okay? When we think a thought, we fuel it with the love or fear we place in it. And then we create a feeling. The feeling is what we think of a possibility and our love or fear of that thought. Feelings and belief are connected. Our belief translates the energy of the quantum possibilities we just talked about that we can imagine into our physical reality of our world. Once you start seeing something occur you didn't know how happened, you start saying, man, this stuff really works. And your belief goes up. Success builds confidence. So if you want things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. And when you dream build or imagine things, you could be specific with your goals, like you want to do this by a certain time, certain day, or certain hour, whatever like that. Be general with your goals, or you could just focus on feeling good and let the universe, God, the creator, the most high, whichever label you want to put on it, give you what's best to keep you feeling good. I mean, that's what I do, all right? You get the idea in your mind of what you want, set your intent, pour energy into the feeling of the outcome that you want. This is what's meant by transmitting frequency. Remember the last show? And this law of attraction will create events and circumstances to bring it to you. If you don't believe, it stops if the duration and the intensity of your transmission is weak or doubtful. If you don't have a rational how immediately, it would be best to focus on feeling good. Well, again, that's what I did. You will begin to say things like, I want to accomplish fill in the blank. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know it will present itself at the right time. To wrap this all up, because I see somebody hit the wrap it up box on me over there. Wrap that up, B. To wrap this all up, remember these few things. You become or you get what you think about most of the time. Your thoughts become things. Quantum mechanics is the study of how thoughts become things. Feelings are the union of thoughts and emotions. Feelings and beliefs are connected. We are all one in this field of consciousness, and everything is one. All is one. Everything is connected, no matter how you look at it, all right? So use this gauge and use this scale wisely to determine and dictate the reality that you want that best suits you, all right?
It's right here, all right?
All right, y'all, back to this top 50 countdown. Nobody has sat in this seat next to me yet. I don't even put a seat here no more because I don't think nobody wants that smoke. We're gonna go back to number 35, Big Pun, all right? Very similar to Big L. I wish we had more time with his artistry than we were afforded, all right? Not gonna lie. I would have probably ranked Big L in this spot, but Pun's music has way more playability, all right? The 5 years he gave us was jam-packed with hits. His most widely recognized track is Still Not a Player, all right? Pun always had lyrics, and his flow could be attributed to the great Cool G rap on the cadence and the delivery, all right? Outside of that, he kicked the door down with his debut feature on a Clue tape back in '95 called Firewater with him, Raekwon, Fat Joe, and Armageddon. Since then, everybody was put on notice that Big Dog Punisher had to be taken seriously. Check the song Super Lyrical with Black Thought if you think I'm playing. He scored a 16 out of 20 heavy on bars, beats, and songs. Capital Punishment was a classic album, even got nominated for a Grammy, and he was the first Latin to go platinum in hip-hop. Catalog was short but impactful. Feature Game was official, rep South Bronx heavy. Him and Fat Joe was a pretty good 1-2 combo as well. His career was just too short, unfortunately.
Now get me Sabian!
Number 34, got Ludacris. So, let's revisit my qualifications. Remember I said I moved to the right place at the right time? All right, I was living in Atlanta as the Dirty began its run, and Chris Lover was right there keeping pace with the ATL scene when the South was taking shape. He was a DJ on Atlanta's Hot 97 back then, and just as a side note, when I first moved out there and I found out they had a Hot 97 like we did back home, I was like, get out of here, baby. It's not the same thing, but we'll go with it. He was on the Hot 97 out there in Atlanta back in the late 90s and then got with Timberland. And since 99, he's been a staple in the culture and the scene of hip hop. What's Your Fantasy was his debut track, which still gets spins in the right situation or anytime you turn to Sirius XM Fly. They spin that joint at the 05 and the 40 of every hour, every day, for the rest of your life. Yo, sometimes it gets a little overbearing, but to me, his best hits were Southern Hospitality, a Neptune's produced track, and Area Codes, in that order. But joints like Saturday, Move, Stand Up, you know what I'm saying? The When I Move, You Move song where I just mentioned that will get it going, all right? Luda got hits, B, like, don't even front. His feature resume is littered with greats, and his videos was always entertaining. To me, he was like the down south version of Busta Rhymes. I was on the fence about his acting career at first, but he's earned his way to tolerable after like the third Fast and Furious movie. Outside of that, he started his own movement with the DTP. He had a little beef with T.I. for the moment or whatever for a high sec and scored a 15 out of 20, scored well on songs, beats, and bars. Sometimes his bars were somewhat predictable if you catch the setup going into it. Overall, he's one of the better talent that came from Atlanta by way of Chicago. His commercial success was just the icing on the cake. After his spot he did with the Biebs, he didn't have to make another song in his life.
Now get me Sabian!
Number 33, Eminem. Marshall, it was a very fickle case in hip-hop. His talent is undeniable, but it was spotty reception on this talent resting with him because he was white. Let's just call it what it is. All right? The way it looked at first was a white boy can't be considered the greatest because he's a visitor in this house. And I was a huge fan of M during the Napster days. If y'all really was a music head back in those days, you had Napster. You was downloading all these unreleased, I don't want to use the other word, but unreleased music or whatever at your disposal. The freestyles I was finding were absurd. Some was drop dead nice. All right, the reason he ranked lower than some lists have him because of two things. One, he does not have a hood classic. Y'all not just throwing some Eminem on and going to hit the streets or whatever like that in any hood USA. That's just what it is, all right? Even House of Pain had Jump Around. They was straight up Irish, but they even had a hood classic. And number two, a lot of his music has no real playability. I'm not even playing Lose Yourself, and that was his biggest hit. I'm being honest with you. I bought his first 3 albums and that was it. Still one of the best lyricists and storytellers to this day. He scored a 16 out of 20, scored flawless on the bars category. My personal favorite song of his was from the Next Friday soundtrack called Murder Murder. Long story short, I understand both stances when it comes to Marshall. I was a fan of his since 99, 2000, so I know how the stands be wildin' out there for him. But I also understand the stance of the Snoop or the hood purist when it comes to his music. Not to say it was whack or trash music, but playback, all right? It's a fine line to toe. The one common denominator associated with M is that he's an elite lyricist that not many can rival. Check the song Renegade if you don't believe me.
Now get me Sabian!
Number 32, we got Scarface. In all honesty, I did not know where Face Mob was gonna land on this list, but I knew he was gonna be making the list. Most notably a credit for bringing gangster rap to the South. He was one of, if not the first person to put on for Houston on a public format like that. I mean, he's been putting on for H-Town since 89, but really make an impression in 91 with the Ghetto Boys in the song Mind Playing Tricks on. Anyway, he followed that up with a solo album and been moving dolo ever since 91. And since 91, he had garnered the respect of the industry. His best album to me was The Fix. Face had put out about 5 or 6 albums before that. but he hit this one out the park. It was a no-brainer. Now, The Diary was a banger too, but in '94, it was all about Nas and Big at the time. And I think Outkast's first album dropped in '94 too, and they was getting the attention for the South at the time more than anything else. So it's pretty tall competition, especially before the whole South made a name for themselves the way they have now. Scored a 14 out of 20, but his impact for Houston and Texas as a whole speaks to his legacy. Definitely has playability and playable songs like My Block and Guess Who's Back, to name a few. True MC, hands down. Put on for a new hood and was one of the all-time pioneers for Southern hip-hop.
Now get me Sabian!
All right, number 31, we got Lil' Kim. So, let's speak to this. I'm not gonna even consider the likings of a Nicki or a Cardi or even a Meg for what it's worth. I'll say this, they're stars in their own right and they have hits collectively, and I'm glad they're getting their money for using their platform to express themselves how they see fit. But if there was no Kim, or even Foxy for that matter, there would be no Nicki and the rest of the crew. With that said, her album Hardcore was a classic. Kim broke ground for the female MC to not have to be like one of the guys. There was sex appeal tied to it, and it was okay. It was fresh. Her pen was questionable in the beginning when B.I.G. was still alive, because a lot of people said, I mean, hey, we all know that rhyme sounded just like Big when she first dropped. So there was question marks around that or whatever like that, but she stayed consistent and stayed consistently afloat after he went on. But hits like Crush on You, No Time, Get Money, Big Mama Thing, etc. etched her name as a game changer and an influencer of the female segment of hip hop that cannot be ignored. Trina, Kaya, again, the Meg, City Girl, name it, are all her offspring. She scored a 15 out of 20 on the grading scale, heavy on songs, impact, bars, like I said, questionable, beats, well, good, all right? They were on target for that era. Still one of the most notable features was on a Quiet Storm remix with Mobb Deep, all right? But that list is extensive.
It's right here, all right?
Thanks for hanging out with us for another action-packed episode of It's Right Here with your boy Sabe James. And always remember, when you don't have furniture in your crib and the spiders are being disrespectful, I got an uncle out in Florida that has a furniture shop that's called A. Sit on this. Peace, love, and light. We have spoken.
Dope fiend, opening up a bottle of dopamine. You just hope when you don't get rope for your throat to choke anything. Oh, and just think, I don't think you be smoke anything. Oh, there goes the bell, the sound of the opening ding. I hit you as hard as ball pitch you, it's in the ribs, get a switch and stitch you at the same time before you can flinch to it. My dick is so big, if I add another inch to it, you would swear when I ripped you that you was actually into it. I'm not a baller, but you can bet your fucking bottom dollar that I remember when I was without a dollar bill in my wallet. Now watch me kill a koala while I'm all a chihuahua. Bum a pill up a parlor like let me holler at you, mama. It's like I'm off the bomb bar when I bring the fucking drama. Used to bomb you like Saddam, but now that I'm a little calmer, I'm a fucking cross between Osama, Obama, and Dalai Lama. So Miley, I'm a knight in shining armor. Nail a gift to Taylor Swift trailer, a picture of my genitalia with a note saying, I can't wait to ya. Drug paraphernalia, beware the werewolf will kill you. That's him in his sheep's clothes. He just shaved his hair, Cecilia.
You better wrap that gavel up, B.